Hey everyone, Giancarlo Veronini here at GamesCom 2010. I'm joined by Greg Goodrich, executive producer on Medal of Honor. Greg, we get a chance to take a look at a little bit more of a single-player action here, starting with a mission where you're actually the gunner in an Apache attack helicopter, right?
That's correct. We've been talking a lot about the Tier 1 operator and who he is and what he does. We've shown a lot of that gameplay, as well as the U.S. Army Rangers. We've shown some of that, and for GamesCom we thought we'd do something completely different, sort of a departure. And with that we unveiled the gunfighter mission, where you are indeed a gunner in the front seat of an Apache attack helicopter, eliminating threats deep in Afghanistan's Shai-Kot Valley.
And let's talk a little bit about the sort of approach towards authenticity for this game. You guys are really, you're speaking with the guys on the ground, you're talking to these people, trying to make sure that this game is as accurate as possible. Did you do the same for these Apache attack missions?
Yeah, absolutely. We've had the Tier 1 guys that have come in, and we've spent a lot of time with them, as well as the Army, PAO office, and a lot of the U.S. Army Rangers and such. And we did the same with the attack squadron, the actual gunfighter squadron. We spent a day out in Point Mugu, California, with these guys, spending time, with our audio guys, recording the sounds of the aircraft, as well as speaking with the pilots and just really trying to get a feel for what it's like, as a matter of fact, the mission that you just saw, our writers spent a lot of time with them getting the dialogue right, and they actually took control of quite a bit of it and actually wrote most of the dialogue in that mission. So what you see, what you hear, the look, the feel, the sounds, everything is authentic, and that's what Medal of Honor has always been about, is striving for authenticity, and so we've done that for gunfighters as well.
Yeah, definitely. There's something that's striking in that demo is just even the radio chatter. Like, you really do have to pay attention to what they're saying when they're calling their shots and things like that.
Yeah, it's not just background chatter. So if you do listen to Gunfighter 1-1, that's the female pilot, she will be calling out targets, and she, kind of giving you, hints as you go along, and yeah, if you pay attention, it makes things a whole lot more engaging and fun and a bit easier as well.
And there's a portion in the demo too where you're actually sort of sitting back and you're waiting for them to identify targets, right, to make sure they're hostile. That seems to be another sort of big facet of this game, to show people how the United States military sort of engages these enemies in Afghanistan. Yeah,
that part you're talking about in the TAD system, the FLIR, is a point sort of in the beginning of the mission where, and that was really important to the pilots that we spoke to, is that they can't just go fire indiscriminately at targets. They have to get approvals to go weapons hot. And so in that section you talk about, that's when they see the enemies. The pilots know that they're enemies. They see the weapons, but they radio it in, and they confirm it once, twice, 3 times. And then the AFO team leader comes on from the talk and says, yeah, your weapon's hot, those are enemies.
Well, let's talk a little bit about, just in terms of making an entertaining experience here, and balancing that with sort of the realistic nature of the game. How are you guys approaching sort of the balance and the pacing of the game in terms of having the scalpel missions versus missions like the Apache attack helicopter?
Right, so there's 2 sides, right? We've talked a lot about this, the sledgehammer and the scalpel, and of course the helicopters represent that sledgehammer, that overwhelming force, the ground pounders. But we do, it's sort of a built-in pacing mechanism. When you're playing the Tier 1 guys, it's a lot of quiet action, it's a lot of up close and very personal, very aggressive type of gameplay. The Rangers are, like I said, they're just, they're professional soldiers, and they do what they do, and they do it very well. But it feels like you're part of a much bigger unit, a much larger force. And then of course with the Apaches, you're in the air, you're behind the stick of a very powerful machine. But there's a responsibility with that, and like I said, so we're just, again, mixing it up, right when the player, starts to think, well, gee, I've seen this, we want to mix it up and give them something different. So, with the 4 playable characters in the game, we do mix it up, and it's, it's almost like a relay race, right? So they kind of each hand off to each other for, the next mission. And so, again, we do that not only with the gameplay, the units you play, the type of characters you play, but also in the environments, the time of day, and the type of terrain, from the city slums of Gardez into the the dry, arid, rugged terrain of the Shikot Valley, and then the snowy mountain peaks of Takragar. And so, even though that's in a 12-mile radius of Afghanistan, it's a very diverse, rich, differing place. So it's pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool. I don't know. You think it's pretty cool?
I do, actually, and it seems like the team takes a special sort of pride in working on this game and working with the military as well.
Yeah, Medal of Honor is one of those franchises that people they love, and it stands for something, and it means a lot to so many people. And so, we take that very seriously. We have a responsibility, and that's why we take the tone that we do, and our intent is to honor the soldier and respect the soldier, and, devoid of any politics or debate. Let's just tell the soldier's story, and let's do it honestly, with respect. And so I love this franchise. The team loves this franchise. And, when you sit back and take a larger look at it, I can tell that there's a lot of passion on the team and the guys working on it, both in Los Angeles and in Sweden, because they just care. And you got to have that for a reboot, right? We've been making the Medal of Honor games for 11 years, and they've always been set in World War II. And this is a reboot into modern times. And so, we just have to show up with quality. And so we're just spending every ounce of effort and every moment of the day just to try to just make a great game for the fans, because it's, they deserve it.
And what are we looking at in terms of release date and platforms for the latest Medal of Honor?
So it's PC, PS3, Xbox, and it's North America October 12th, and in Europe October 15th.
Great. Thank you so much for joining us, Greg.
Appreciate your time.
Stay tuned at GameSpot for more coverage of Medal of Honor.